Los Angeles is once again grappling with one of the most devastating wildfires in its history. This relentless disaster has scorched over 55 square miles of land, reduced thousands of buildings to ashes, and tragically claimed the lives of at least 10 people. The situation has been exacerbated by a deadly combination of factors: hurricane-force winds reaching speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, extreme drought conditions, and a water infrastructure that simply cannot meet the overwhelming demands of firefighting efforts. The city now stands as a stark witness to destruction that goes far beyond the limits of human capacity to manage. But it also serves as a grim reminder of the urgent need for preventative action, resilient infrastructure, and adaptive policies to address the growing threats posed by climate change. These fires are not just burning landscapes, they are rewriting the story of the city, marking some of the largest and most destructive blazes to ever ravage urban areas and wilderness alike. The Los Angeles area, once a symbol of beauty and prosperity, now lies in ruins after a devastating wildfire swept through its landscapes. Before this tragedy, the Santa Monica Mountains and the Malibu coastline were known for their lush forests and elite neighborhoods, home to some of the world's most famous celebrities. But in just a matter of days, that picturesque scenery was transformed into a blackened wasteland covered in ash. The fire ignited in Pacific Palisades on Tuesday, January 7th, fueled by the dry gusts of the Santa Ana winds. These winds are notorious for drying out vegetation, leaving plants brittle and dangerously flammable, conditions that are a perfect recipe for wildfires. A single spark was all it took to ignite a blaze that rapidly expanded. The winds carried embers over a mile, igniting new hot spots and spreading the fire at an alarming speed.
Everything they left behind is now going up in flames. It does appear that it caught them a little bit off guard.
In a short time, more than 23,000 hectares of forest were consumed by the flames. The scale of destruction prompted chaotic mass evacuations. Around 250,000 people were forced to leave their homes, including students from UCLA and residents of Brentwood, home to the renowned Getty Center Art Museum. As of now, the death toll has climbed to 25, while thousands of others have been left homeless. The environmental toll has been catastrophic. Once thriving vegetation has been reduced to barren, scorched earth. Wildlife habitats have been obliterated, and the region's beaches are now polluted with debris from the fires. Over 12,000 buildings have been destroyed, and the total economic losses are estimated to be as high as $150 billion. Although the fires are now under control, the road to recovery is still a long way off. The threat of future wildfires remains high due to the dry vegetation and the ever-worsening impact of climate change, which has extended the wildfire season. Chongqing, a sprawling metropolis of 32 million people renowned for its lush green mountains and fertile valleys, faced a harrowing chapter in August 2022. An extreme heat wave ignited a massive wildfire that devoured the forests surrounding the city. Temperatures soaring above 104 degrees Fahrenheit sparked flames that rapidly spread across the mountains, threatening industrial zones and residential areas alike. At night, the city's skyline was illuminated not by the glow of its iconic lights, but by the fiery blaze visible from apartment balconies. More than 1,500 residents were forced to evacuate their homes, while thousands more endured the choking smoke that blanketed the area. The emergency response was monumental. 5,000 firefighters, police officers, and volunteers battled the inferno relentlessly. armed with 7 helicopters and an array of emergency measures, they worked around the clock to contain the advancing flames. The evacuation efforts were both dramatic and deeply moving. Viral images captured residents coming together to deliver supplies and help construct fire breaks. Among the many acts of solidarity, one stood out. A heartwarming gesture by Francis Stonier, an American teacher who assembled chainsaws to assist in firefighting efforts. His selfless contribution became a symbol of international unity, inspiring millions on social media and reminding the world of the power of collective action. When the fires were finally extinguished, the damage was staggering. Over 10,000 hectares of forest had been reduced to ash, leaving behind barren landscapes that further strained the region's fragile ecosystem. Biodiversity took a heavy hit as wildlife habitats were destroyed, while air pollution from the fires spread as far as the city center, amplifying the environmental crisis. Yet, Chongqing has shown remarkable resilience. The local government and its citizens are now focused on recovery, enforcing strict bans on the use of fire in the wilderness. Despite the looming threat of extreme heat waves, the city stands as a testament to human determination in the face of nature's fury. Chongqing's experience serves as a poignant reminder of the urgent need for global collaboration to address the growing challenges of climate change. The summer of 2019 to 2020 will forever be etched as one of the darkest chapters in Australia's history. During this devastating period, nearly 17 million hectares of land were consumed by flames. Thousands of homes were destroyed, and 33 lives were tragically lost. The fires raged relentlessly from June 2019 to March 2020, leaving no corner of New South Wales or Victoria untouched. Once thriving forests, home to countless species of wildlife, were reduced to ashes. Among the countless casualties were an estimated 60,000 koalas, either killed or left homeless. In one particularly poignant moment in Long Flat, a woman named Tony rescued a severely injured koala, an act of compassion that went viral and became a symbol of hope amidst the devastation. The fires began as a deadly combination of factors. Scorching heat, prolonged drought, and fierce winds turned small sparks into uncontrollable infernos. In some areas, 2 massive fires merged into a phenomenon known as a mega fire, creating an almost unstoppable wall of flames. The capital city of Canberra was hit so hard that a state of emergency was declared, with thousands of residents forced to evacuate as firefighters worked tirelessly around the clock, risking their lives to protect homes and wildlife. The aftermath was heartbreaking. Once lush forests were reduced to a wasteland of ash, entire communities were flattened, and skies that were typically bright and blue remained choked with thick smoke for weeks. The environmental toll was staggering. Around 3 billion animals were directly affected, and the destruction of ecosystems will take decades to heal. Yet, this was not Australia's first brush with such tragedy. Just over a decade earlier, in 2009, the Black Saturday fires claimed 173 lives and scorched more than 400,000 hectares, making it the deadliest bushfire disaster in the country's history. Despite these repeated calamities, the resilience of the Australian people shines through. In areas like the Blue Mountains, communities have come together, rebuilding their lives and adapting to the increasing threat of wildfires driven by climate change. These fires have left scars, but they've also ignited a powerful spirit of solidarity, reminding the world of the urgent need to address the growing impacts of a warming planet. 5 years before Australia's Black Summer, the Northwest Territories of Canada faced one of its worst wildfire disasters in nearly 3 decades during the summer of 2014. Extreme drought and lightning strikes ignited over 150 separate fires, with 13 of them directly caused by human activity. Between July and September, these blazes consumed approximately 8.5 million hectares of forest, an area equivalent to the size of Trinidad. The fires generated immense plumes of smoke that traveled thousands of miles, crossing Canada's borders into the United States and even reaching Portugal. Towns surrounding the Northwest Territories were blanketed in toxic haze, prompting the government to issue air quality alerts. In provinces like Saskatchewan and Manitoba, thousands of residents faced serious health risks from prolonged exposure to the polluted air. The forests, once a vibrant habitat for wildlife and a critical resource for indigenous communities, were left in ruins. Among the most devastating events were the Lutzelsti Fire, which consumed more than 77,000 hectares, and the Gameti-Wekwiti Fire, which destroyed 62,000 hectares. The environmental impact was profound, with an estimated 164 teragrams of carbon released into the atmosphere, exacerbating the global climate crisis. Evacuating residents and containing the fires was an enormous challenge. Rescue teams faced rapidly spreading flames and the rugged, remote terrain of the Northwest Territories. Firefighters battled around the clock while the Canadian government allocated over $44 million to firefighting operations. Despite these efforts, the fires left behind scars of devastation. Today, the affected areas are slowly recovering, but the ecological damage remains evident. Many species lost their habitats, and the regeneration of the forest will take decades. This disaster stands as a somber reminder of the increasing risks posed by climate change and human activity in fragile ecosystems. The largest wildfire in recorded history unfolded in 2003 when Siberia's taiga forest, a critical part of the planet's lungs, was engulfed in flames. Over 55 million hectares were burned, an area comparable to the size of France. Beginning on March 14th, the fires raged until August, generating colossal smoke plumes that stretched across continents and were detected as far away as Kyoto, Japan. Once a dense forest teeming with life, the taiga was reduced to ashes. This region not only supported thousands of plant and animal species, but also played a crucial role in absorbing carbon dioxide and stabilizing the Earth's climate. The ecological and social losses were staggering. Between 400 and 640 teragrams of carbon were released into the atmosphere, intensifying global warming and contributing to ozone depletion. Wildlife habitats were obliterated, forcing species to migrate, while the affected regions faced long-term environmental degradation. 2 decades later, the scars of this tragedy remain visible as Siberia struggles to recover. Even today, wildfires continue to ravage the region. Greenpeace International recently reported massive fires in Krasnoyarsk, Siberia, which since 2020 have burned more than 20.9 million hectares, including 10.9 million hectares of forest. The situation is worsened by extreme heat, with temperatures in Volsonverkoyansk soaring to an unprecedented 38 degrees Celsius, leading to respiratory concerns for local populations. Analysis of these fires reveals a troubling trend. Many are sparked by human activity, with climate change amplifying extreme weather conditions. Efforts to prevent such disasters are evolving, with the integration of modern technologies like drones and early warning systems. However, as global temperatures continue to rise, the need for adaptive strategies and stronger international collaboration has never been more urgent. These tragedies serve as stark reminders that wildfire prevention and climate action must go hand in hand to protect not only local ecosystems, but the health of our planet as a whole.